Hello again, everyone. This is Joe Henches with Beyond the Chart, and this is Stock Market Wrap-Up for Monday, April 6, 2015. So this is the first day back after a long weekend. We're going to take a look at the market action today, which was a little bit of a fake out based on what the futures did on Friday and overnight last night. And then we're going to take a look at four stocks: Facebook, Apple, Tesla, and Rite Aid. Okay, let's start off here with the Dow Industrials. The Dow was up 117 points today. It was down about, well, I don't know how much it was down actually. Let's see, it was at 7763 and the low 6, so about 120 points, 110, 120 points, and then it ends up 117. It was up a little bit higher than that at one point today, but I look at this and say we're still kind of in no man's land, okay? Because let me get rid of the crosshairs, easier on the eyes. You know, we haven't taken out this high, we haven't taken out this low. We're just right here in the middle still, even with this price action that's going on. And we're still below this trend line that we broke down out of, you know, here on the Dow, on this rising wedge. And we'll see if that concept still holds. The S&P 500. Similar type thing right here in the no man's land, right here in the middle of the high and low of the last 7 days. And we haven't broken out of that range yet. And S&P was up 13.66. And let's see, the NASDAQ was up 30 points today, a little stronger and much more bullish. It opened down and it opened right on basically what the low was, and the buying came in. So we got to close here above the 10-day exponential moving average, kind of like what we did back here on the 30th. And again, we are still within this range of the last 7 days, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 7 days. So we'll see what kind of follow through we get. Do we get more push to the upside, or do we reverse back down to the downside? The short-term trading index continues to drop down. We got a reading of 0.92 today. And so the 10-day is still in between, in the neutral zone, but leaning more and more towards the overbought type situation. It's 1.02 on the 10-day. And let's see, the market volatility index. Again, this didn't, you know, it gapped up, and that was the high reading for the day on the open, basically. 15.75 at 1/100th higher for the high, but for all intents and purposes that was the high, and then it just sold off for the day and came back close 14.74. So again, no indication. We're just kind of chopping sideways here over the last week and a half. And the HighLow Index is the same type of thing. I mean, we're just right in here, 130 more new highs than new lows. Now, the new lows, the number of new lows, I think was 12 for the day, something like that. And so that's getting to be pretty low in terms of the number of new lows. But the thing is, we're not getting the new highs to you know, really get up here and break new ground. So we're just still right here in this little choppy sideways type action. The next thing I want to take a look at is, well, I want to mention also the put to call ratio today was 0.50. That was the lowest, most bullish type, and I'm saying bullish, so the most aggressive bullish type action, which is not bullish. When you get a low reading, it's a reflection of a lot of call buying and a low level put buying, and that is, from a contrarian standpoint, is bearish. So 0.5 is the lowest reading since December 22nd, when we had 0.49, and that was like 3 or 4 days prior to the peak of December. So we're gonna have to keep watching that and all these other indicators to see what's going on. Semiconductor ETF, basically not doing anything. It was up 0.14 for the day. And again, it rallied back from a gap down. Everything kind of sold off this morning on the open. There was a lot of negativity from overnight, and that kind of got reflected in the open, and then, you know, buying came in. And let's see. And honestly, I wondered about all of that negativity because, you know, if the jobs market was so weak, there's no way the Fed's going to be raising interest rates. At least I got my doubts. So you can sit back and say, well, what's going to hurt earnings and, you know, on and on. But it's really a matter of what's the market focusing on today? Is it focusing on, you know, earning impact, or is it focusing on interest rate impact? And honestly, who knows? So right now the market's telling us that they're okay. It bounced back after that reading on Friday. And the, let's see, at least for the day anyway, the home builders. Okay, so the home builders we're 36.85, and exactly a week ago we closed 36.85. So basically unchanged over the last week of trading. And almost the same thing with the financial ETF. Okay, 24.25, and on the 30th it was 24.28. So we're 3/100ths of a point below that. So again, just sideways movement over the last week. And the last one, I think I did pull up the energy select sector spider. Here we go. So yeah, a bunch of oil stocks popped today, and so that's reflected in the energy ETF here, popping up here. I'm not seeing anything that's any great on the chart formations. I looked at some of the stocks too, and they're just like, okay, you know, they're bouncing a little bit, and you know, maybe they will start to put in some kind of a bottom. I mean, when you look at this really has been in this range. I mean, you could sit back and let's just do this just for grands. Let's just put that and put here right about that. And so that little box is what this thing has been in since mid-December, you know, fluctuating back and forth. So, and I'm going to get rid of that for now. So we'll see see where she goes and what she does. Okay, so that's it for the indicators for tonight. Kind of a quick and dirty 1 day's worth of price action. So let's take a look at Facebook. I put out a trade idea on Facebook and actually got into calls right near the close, just a couple of minutes before the close. Because I liked the way this was coming back, and I wanted to see this break this high here and close above the 10-day, and we've got the 10 above 21, above the 55, above the 233. And when I look at it from a Fibonacci or from a Elliott wave perspective, I do think we're working a bullish count to the high side. Now, until something changes that scenario, I'm sticking with that. I think we're in an intermediate wave 3, and we're working a third minor wave up within that intermediate wave, and that is within a primary wave 3. So I am actually expecting this to get pretty active to the high side pretty soon. So that's what I'm looking for on Facebook. And the details of all of these are on the Trade Ideas webpage. And if you're not a subscriber, it's very easy to do. Just first name and email, and you can subscribe. Just click on any of the buttons either after this post or on the home page. Take a look at Apple. Apple's acting bullish here. Now, I hope it doesn't do some kind of sideways choppiness and catch me, but I am looking for an entry tomorrow morning to get into calls. Not going to accept the close. I'm going to look for something just slightly higher because I want it to prove to me. It looked a little bit overbought on the 60-minute chart that I looked at, and even the 30-minute, but so I was a little concerned about that. So we'll see what happens. But right now, there's a very real possibility that the fourth intermediate wave kind of completed here, and that we're really doing a 1, 2, 3, 4, and we've got a fifth wave that's up here closer to the top of this parallel line, and maybe even a little bit higher. So that's what I'm looking to see. It sure acted, like I mentioned on Saturday, I think it was, it didn't act like it wanted to go down. I really thought this was going to crack back in here, and it didn't, and now it's turning back up. So to me, it's acting bullish. So you would get into calls. Okay, and let's see. The next one we'll look at is Tesla. It was very active today. And it was based on, I guess, the fact that they had much better orders that were announced on Friday than anyone ever expected them to announce. And so the stock exploded here today. And it was up 12 points. And at one point, it was up 15 or more, I think, at one point. Now, I do think it's popping out of this downward wedge, okay, declining wedge. I thought that this was bottoming right here, okay, and I thought I was getting 5 waves up. I was expecting a pullback, but once it broke below this low here that it did here, and again, it chopped much more than I ever thought it would, and when it broke below that low, well, then that bullish scenario was out the door. I mean, you just, once it went below this low, you cannot continue an impulse wave count of any kind. So now we got to sit back and say, well, you know, it's starting to look like it's ending here, and we'll see. So what I'm going to be looking for is 5 waves up, okay? And once I get 5 waves up, I'll be looking for a second wave pullback of some kind, okay? So we'll see what kind of price action. It sure is acting nice right now. We've got, look at this volume that came in, huge volume. The indicators are looking, I believe, pretty well. Yeah, the RSI is blasted up above this point here. I mean, you could say, you know, you can draw trend lines on the RSI too. And, you know, it broke the trend line to the up here. And the RSI is at 60.5. And the demand index has gone positive, looking very nice. And DI plus has crossed above DI minus. So right now, it's sure looking like Tesla wants to go. Although it did get some selling and pulling back in here second half of the day. So we'll see what kind of follow through we get. And then the last one we're going to take a look at tonight is Rite Aid. And Rite Aid, I think, is in its 5th wave. Let me step back on this. Whether you call this intermediate or minor, these are actually almost too big to be minor waves. Probably should be intermediate waves. But once you see this huge wave 3 like this, really extended wave 3, and we got a wave 4, well, this is almost for sure wave 5. Okay, and based on my targets that I've got, this since it's already past 38.2, I am really looking for this 5th wave to, I'm going to get this out of here. It's because it's a little messy, but it was around 90 or 9.25, which is not, you know, we may have seen the high already on an intraday basis right here, but if we push up a little bit higher, I'm not expecting it to get much above 9.25. Okay, that's my initial target. It may push a little bit higher, but we are in the final throes here of this 5th wave within the 5th wave, and so then I expect it to correct, and we'll see as it breaks down through this trend line, which I'll extend to the right. So, all right, that's my scenario on Rite Aid. We'll see what happens. It's been sure acting pretty bullish lately. Nice little move. And I'll be back, tonight's Monday night, I'll be back on tomorrow night for another market update, wrap up. And everyone have a great Tuesday. And if you're watching this anywhere besides my website, head over there and check out that special training video I've got for you if you haven't looked at it. And if you're not a subscriber, subscribe. It's very easy to do. Just like I mentioned, click on the button and you can have access to the Trade Ideas webpage, and you'll be able to follow me on Beyond the Chart. All right, everyone, have a great Tuesday. We'll talk to you tomorrow night.